What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. People are angry. We finally have all of the official art for Generation 9. Let's analyze these designs and see why people are so upset. You guys might be noticing something a little bit different today. We've got two face cams. Today I'm joined by the Lumios post.
What's up?
You can see him wave, and Soul Silver art.
What's up? You can't see me wave.
You can't see him wave, but once we reach 1,000 subscribers, you will be seeing the face behind the mask. So do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into the video.
We're talking official art today. It all dropped, I think it was Friday, right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
Something like that. It was the day after the 1008 video, so.
Right, that's what it was. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I've been anticipating this for a long time, just waiting. We had like official art leaks from, they're not real leaks. They were the actual like guidebooks were out in Japan, but not worldwide. So we had seen some of them, had some like anticipation and expectations for them. And now we officially got them all right there on the screen.
They're beautiful.
How do you guys feel about them?
A few complaints, but my complaints are, I feel very valid and I feel strongly about them. I guess.
I think it's nice to see these Pokemon in a 2D format. Like, I think it's at least nice to see the art. I think the art is good. I think maybe I don't have as good of an eye as people like Soul and a lot of other artists on Twitter. I think I can definitely see. So the main thing is that a lot of people just think that, like, or don't think. People have noticed that a lot of designs look like they're just traces of the 3D art, or the in-game models essentially. But even some of the ones that look like that, I still think they look good, right? I don't know.
Definitely.
So the whole thing, winners, like Soul especially, because I'm sure you've looked at all of them. Like, what do y'all think? Like, are the ones that, I don't know. Like, for me, sometimes I'll see art and I'll be like, oh, I love this Pokemon even more because of this. Or I didn't like this Pokemon, but I actually love it now because of this art. What are y'all's that do that for you?
I think for me, the Fluttermane is like a huge one. Fluttermane in the game is like kind of boring. You know, when you first saw it, you were just like, oh, this is just like
pure mischievous.
Yeah. But that face that it's got in that art is like sinister, like kind of like, I love it. It just has personality to it.
Even really the teeth. It's got some teeth, some fangs.
Mm-hmm. I found out that I'm like a fan of that little mouth because it's on Meowscarada too, and I'm like, I like it. Meowscarada is actually another one. Like Meowscarada's art, we had it so early, so you don't feel that way about it anymore. But when I first saw it, I was like, I like Meowscarada now, and I didn't before.
Even I don't know if you guys can see it on screen right now, but even the attention, you can see the veins of the leaves that make up its cape. And I think that's a beautiful detail.
Yes,
it really
that's
is.
exactly what I was about to say. I love the detail of seeing the leaves. Like, I wish, I don't know, is that in game? Because I don't have a Meowscarada. My wife does, but can see that in game.
Mm-hmm. I haven't noticed it.
It is.
I have not noticed it at all. So that's. I wonder, like, are they almost like translucent?
No, I think it's just like the inside of it, because the back is like all black and like shiny and nice. So it's just like the inside.
Oh, they did say, they say in like its dex entry or something that it is like translucent or something, because that's how it does the flower trick. That flower's not actually floating. It has a string attached to it that it's an optical illusion.
True. It's all I like illusion, that a lot. So who knows what we're actually seeing.
I liked it a lot because I didn't really understand why it was able to make that flower float. So to think that, you know, it's an illusion to us, it was an illusion to me. I was like, how is it doing that?
It is
That's
actually
literally
insane.
The point.
Yeah, it's insane when you read that little like blurb about it. It's like it actually is attached to it, but we just can't see it. It's crazy to me.
It says the flowers which appear to be floating camouflage their stems with the reflection of the fur on the back of its cloak.
Yeah, that's
like, what does it look like? What does it look like without the illusion? Like stems? Is it like stemming out of Meowscarada somewhere?
That's like asking what's under Dugtrio. You'll never know.
Yeah, you're right.
That would make sense, right? Because like, a flower has a stem. I think we could see something like that. Yep. And like a lot of plant Pokemon can control how things appear. So, like plants. So I like that. What are some other?
Cool.
What are some other ones that you guys like?
Some other ones for me, real quick, are Iron Jugulus, because people hate that one too. But like, I didn't notice that its arms weren't attached in the game. Like, its arms are literally not attached to its body, and like you can see like the cordage in its neck, and there's like a circle around in its hand, and it's like
zoom in?
Hand faces, whatever.
Yeah,
you can see like a circle in there, so it's like almost like a weapon that would like shoot like a beam or something out of there. It's pretty intense. I don't know, my imagination runs wild, but I like it. It has the pink of its lights, like LED lights, are shining on its leg, and its like LED face is like one of the most intense like art I've seen from Game Freak. Actually, I don't know how they did. I mean, it's just a texture, but cool.
I do like how it doesn't have an LED. Like everything else, I feel like it has LED eyes, but like it's its whole face, you know. So it looks more significant, I guess, the change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. Those are 2 or 3 of mine, anyway.
I think they had to make it look more significant, because I still do think those details are nice, but it's still, you know, it looks a lot more like Hydreigon than Iron Thorns does Tyranitar or Iron Hands does Hariyama.
Yeah, I agree.
Roaring Moon, I think, looks incredible, but I'm a huge Roaring Moon nerd. Like, that's my favorite Paradox by far.
Let's see.
Man, so like it just really cool. I mean, I don't know that you can make that look bad. So, you know, maybe that's not a winner. I love Citadel. I think Citadel looks adorable.
Really? That's funny. Its arms are like oddly long, though in the game they are kind of long too, but in this art it like
I mean, they're supposed to be flippers. They're supposed
to be
flippers.
He's my precious snowball.
I know we haven't like rated these yet like on this podcast, so
I think Dondozo. I think the art for Dondozo is really, really powerful, and it actually shows like a different side of this Pokemon, right? Because you typically see it from a distance, and it is scary, but it looks more like a blob. This art actually, this art reminds me of like Gen 1 Gyarados, where you can see a lot of the movement. It looks more like a snake or like a giant eel, right? It looks like it has a lot of movement, which I enjoy.
Yep, totally.
Dondozo reminds me, like, its whole thing with Tatsugiri, and this kind of goes along with what you're saying, Dusty. It makes it look so much more monstrous than it does in the games, the official art. It reminds me of like, you know how like the old story of Jonah from the Bible, where he gets swallowed by a whale. Yeah, it actually says in the Bible that it was a fish. It never says whale, but you know, it could have been because they thought a whale was a fish. But either way, Dondozo. Like Dondozo is what I think. Like I'm like, that's what swallowed him.
That's what swallowed him.
You could go into that and say in the anime, they actually do reference. They reference the Bible at some point in the anime. So maybe the anime, yes, dead serious. It's like in Gym 1. Maybe the anime version of Jonah was swallowed by a Dondozo.
Really? Go. Yeah, I wonder. That would make
Pokemon sense. Jonah.
Dude, we're gonna have to explore that in a full episode. I think I've also noticed on Dondozo like the little what is it, like a tie? It's those 2 longer
chef
fins.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, the chef hat. That is definitely way more pronounced. Oh, and then the
Tatsugiris, you have to talk about them, yeah.
Yeah, the Tatsugiris.
If we talk about them, then we have to go into the other things, though, too. I want to hear what your winners are first.
Of what, the 3 Tatsugiri?
No, just all the art in general. Maybe you.
What's yours, Dusty? Because you didn't give yours. Mine are probably Citadel. I would say Roaring Moon, but again, that's just an RA amazing design. And honestly, Scovillain for me, because it made me like it a lot more.
There you go. That's a good one.
And the ruins, the ruinous quartet. They all look great, I think.
They are cool. Epic. We've had that art for a while. I think Champao is really cool. I've never liked how it stands sideways. I really like. I kind of hate that. I really don't like that at all. But it is what would you call it? Like, it still has that in its art. So it must be deliberate. It's not like a mistake.
It runs sideways. I don't know if you've seen it run, but it
does.
It's so odd.
I want to upload a clip. I have a clip.
Don't like that.
It looks really goofy.
Maybe not runs, but it like runs straight for like a second and then instantly shifts sideways. It's so awkward how it works. But anyway,
it's like
look at that.
Slay King does a similar thing where it's sleeping on its side, and then to move, it'll run and then immediately go back to its side. I don't know why they do that. I really don't know why they do that.
They've never been great with that. Like, I remember everyone was, like, picking on Sword and Shield because of, like, that scene where Zacian or Zamazenta is turning, and, like, it's just them walking in place and, like, turning just as they're walking instead of actually turning.
Mm-hmm.
So some standouts for me, if we're talking just the art, like, there are arts here that I've seen in the past that I've liked, right? This is actually the first time I've seen the Nimble art. For whatever reason, that looks, it looks like
Nimble's
like
a cutie.
It almost looks like a watercolor, like the old like Gen 1 art. For whatever reason, that looked a lot later. But anyways, I really like whatever this thing's called. I'm sorry, let me. What is it called?
Wattrel.
Yeah, Wattrel. I like this art a lot. It's actually made me like it. It actually looks a lot different than Talo. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is just like electric Talo," and it is similar,
like an electric Talo.
Yeah, but I think
that is coming from a big Wattrel fan and Talo fan.
But there's a lot of, like, I feel like in Scarlet and Violet, seeing these overworld models, the Pokemon are to scale, so they're a lot smaller than what we're typically used to, and I feel like I haven't really, like, built a connection with the Pokemon, and this is adorable. I really like this a lot.
So you didn't use a Kilowattrel on your team?
I didn't. I'm playing through Violet. I'm playing through Violet, and I do want to use one. I also like, actually, I'm just seeing, what is this? Belly Bolt's preform? What's it called again?
Abulb.
Yeah, that's also really cute. Very simple, but cute. Which one was I going to say? Oh, Mousehold and Tandem Mouse. I love this one's not perfectly symmetrical. This one is, and there's a lot of, I just think of, like, the Gen 1 sprites that are symmetrical like this. I think it's, Kingler has a sprite in Gen 1 where it's got two massive claws and they're mirrored, and I think for whatever reason, like, that's what this reminds me of, and it's got this, like, old school nostalgic vibe to it. It's so cute.
Good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, a lot of this art we have seen, so I'm not, like, super wowed by a lot of it, just because I've been looking at it for, like, the past month.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, let's get into the next segment.
So, Soul, I'll let you take over this. Go back to the Tatsugiris, because it's a bit about that.
All right.
Well, so the Tatsugiris, I don't know. It's the Tatsugiris is a separate one, I'd say, but the Tatsugiris, we have art for each form, which is awesome. It's not something that that we're used to. I was kind of surprised to get all three, but after this, I went and played the game, right? And I realized that all of them actually make those exact poses in the game.
Oh,
so, like,
really?
yeah, when you go up to the droopy one, he's, like, playing dead. He looks like that one, the pink one in the middle. And the yellow one is, like, straight, just like that in the game.
Weird.
It's crazy.
That's how their type of sushis kind of look. Too. Like, so, like, the orange one is based off of, like, tempura, and that's what tempura looks like. It'll curl up on the rice. And then the pink one is based just like, I guess, tuna, and it kind of would lay, like, curved over the rice. And then the yellow one is egg, so it's just straight over the rice.
This is making me hungry.
You're doing a great job, though. You almost were keeping up exactly with what he was saying.
Would you say egg sushi?
Egg, yeah.
Yep.
I would eat that. All right, let's go.
It's good. I love it. I love
a
me
picture
some
for
sushi.
each one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the little controversy here is, especially for us, the Dunsparce lovers and Mousehold lovers, we did not get official art for them. Yeah, I'm one of them. It's a really small group, I think.
Here we go.
But
Maybe.
So we have official art for
their forms,
two
not
segment.
Right.
Yes. We have art for the Dunsparce, and
which is incredible, by the way.
It is really nice.
Yes, it looks really good.
Seeing it, like, lift off the ground is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shows that having a lot of movement. It looks powerful.
I wonder if the reason for this is because, and for the record, I think it's an unjustifiable reason. I think that either way, there should have been a 3-segment to Dunsparce, and especially since it's the long-awaited Dunsparce evolution, and there should have been a 3-family Mousehold art. But I will say, Tatsugiris, actually, the forms have a effect to them that's different. With the Dunsparce and Mousehold, there's no difference. And like it's just aesthetic.
You probably should leave out Squawkabilly too, because
Squawkabilly, I mean, it's the same way.
But I feel like nobody likes Squawkabilly.
But Squawkabilly actually isn't just an aesthetic difference. Some of them have different abilities.
Yep. Which is weird.
Wait, what? Yeah. Wait, what are the different abilities? I didn't even know that.
I hate the Pokemon, so I don't know which one, but I think like 2 of them have Guts and 2 of them have Intimidate.
I wonder if that's random though. I'm not sure.
I think it's by color. I think it's like 2 colors have this, 2 colors have that. I think.
Are you kidding me? I didn't even know this. Oh yeah, green and blue plumage, their abilities are Intimidate or Hustle, and with the hidden ability Guts. The yellow and white plumage abilities are Intimidate, Hustle. Oh, hidden ability is Sheer Force. So it's the hidden ability that is different, either Guts or Sheer Force. Interesting.
So it's still like minimal to them, probably though.
Yeah, and I would also say like there's also been forms that have major stat distributions and are like primary functions of a Pokemon. I'm thinking of Galarian Darmanitan. It's snowman form, right? It's calm form, whatever it's called. Zen mode. Galarian Darmanitan does not have official art.
Yeah, really? So that's the exact thing that I was afraid of here. So we had seen like the 3-segment Dunsparce in one of the guides that like leaked, I guess, earlier, and it didn't have the official art, and I was like, man, are they really gonna like Galarian Darmanitan this? Because that's exactly what happened, and same with what you're looking at.
And it feels, I think the most outrageous thing is that, like, what is the point? This is, like, 2 Pokemon, or even, like, I mean, dude, even just, like, give us, like, Squawkabilly, same pose, all 3
different
colors.
Color. Yeah,
literally, why would you not do
How hard is it just to change the color palette, right?
Not hard. Because you know what? No, this is let me just freak out for a second.
Okay.
They made 2 different arts for Finazine and Palafin.
Oh, God.
Yes,
what is literally the point? These are 2 different, this is what they could have done with Squawkabilly. All right, you guys got me angry.
I mean, the idea though is that Palafin is a different Pokemon from Finazine.
Yeah.
So many people responded that to me when I posted this, and obviously they're 2 different Pokemon, and they needed 2 different artworks.
Right.
But he did the opposite here, and they gave him the same artwork for 2 different Pokemon. It's like
now that I agree,
blowing my mind. It's like why?
I think maybe it's because they're trying to play into the whole look. It's the same, but it has a heart.
It's true.
I mean,
people are complaining about that, but obviously that was intentional on their part. They wanted that to be its whole spiel.
Yeah,
you know, these got 3 different arts. I don't know why.
It differentiated them pretty well, actually.
They did,
I like Pomo now. Look at Pomo.
Like Palmont.
He looks like Pikachu.
It looks cute.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Even I mean, this one's a little bit weaker of an argument, but like even these look pretty different. You can see the size difference.
They look different in the game too. I think I never thought they looked too similar.
Yeah, I think. So like, if we had to make an excuse for Game Freak, like, what is the reasoning? If they're not an excuse, but if they have like a valid reason to not do this, right? Is it negligence? Is it they ran out of time? I don't understand why they wouldn't do this.
Simple. It's simple. They are a small indie company.
Stop it.
It's true. There is no excuse, I think. Like, I don't think we have an answer, to be honest. So to us,
and we'll never get one either.
Yeah, to me, I don't see why an artist couldn't do this. So I put that thought out in the internet on Twitter. I was like, okay, they didn't cover 3-segment to Dunsparce and Mousehold, and somebody like minutes later dropped me like an edited version. If you look, Dusty, in our chat, you'll see it. It's the last thing I sent you. Like, that's a 3-segment to Dunsparce artwork.
Wow.
It wasn't that hard to do. Like, what is the excuse? I don't know. You can, if you hit over, you'll see the Mousehold, which I actually think is perfect. Like,
that's so cute. Yeah,
perfect.
They just took one of them, put it in the middle
of Tandem Mouse. It's like,
yeah,
it's really not that hard. I love Game Freak. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those like they're lazy, but these things are just like, why? Why didn't you do this?
Did someone ever do the Squawkabillies? Because that'd be so easy.
Someone did, but I just didn't care. I don't know where it was.
Yeah, it's interesting that like I don't know. I feel like Game Freak, like people become fans of the patterns that they create, and we expect, just like little comforts, right? Like every game, there's going to be like a Route 1 bug or whatever, right? Like there's little things like that where we're like, this is good. It feels comfortable. It makes every single generation feel complete and nostalgic. And then there's some things that are just like, just completely ignored, and it's like, for what reason?
Yeah, I mean, if they had done that 3-segment to Dunsparce like that, I still would have probably been disappointed, because it's the same thing as like Palafin and Finizen. Yeah. It's like literally the same thing, just with like a few little changes on it. I would have expected like a full different artwork. That's what I wanted for Palafin. Like it's like in a different pose.
And maybe that's what they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to like, but then again, it's like just then it's like one thing. Like this would probably take 3 hours to do and render, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. That's me assuming that it's easy to create art, which I know it's not, but I'm just trying to say like
they're not really complicated designs either. Yeah. So.
And either way, like I do think, I mean, again, how long have the whole reason there was a Dunsparce evolution in this game is because since Dunsparce was introduced way back in Gen 2, people have been wanting an evolution for it. They give it an evolution, and then they kind of give it the short end of the stick by not giving both of its forms art. Like, I can kind of excuse Mousehold and Squawkabilly before I can excuse the Dunsparce.
Yeah, and I mean they are rare like forms that you want to get. This makes you like think
that's more the reason
that. Yeah, it's more the reason. Makes you think they're lesser. Like they're never going to be shown again. Like I'm afraid that we'll only ever have 2-segment to Dunsparce in the future.
Now, I will say, I mean, like, and for the record, I think Galarian Darmanitan, because of how different the Zen mode is, it should have gotten art too. But then, like, you also think, like, there was Sinistea that technically had a different form, that technically had an aesthetic difference. It didn't get an alternate art for that. But, like, again, for me, like, that doesn't matter because it's not. You had to Dynamax your Sinistea to see the stamp. Like, actually, so can you even see the stamp anymore?
That is actually pretty interesting, because then there was like all the different alchemy, and then I'm thinking of like all the different, like in Gen 4 they added all the different gender variations of Pokemon, right? And we typically only get one design for whatever the Pokemon
we get
is.
Multiple for. Did we get official art for all the Vivians and all the Miniors?
We did, but they're just like color changes.
Okay,
right.
Like
Vivian's
literally just the same
Vivian's, thing. Vivian's a bit more pattern.
Those are the Dream World arts. DreamWorks.
Okay, so there was no like official main art for Vivian.
Yeah. These are like people call them the Sugimori art, but even though Sugimori didn't do any of these.
Yeah. But, still though, it is weird that we got alternate arts for Minior. We didn't get ones for Squawkabilly because again, like you said, Soul, I mean that's just a color change.
Mm-hmm.
The Squawkabilly one is like ridiculous.
Pretty much.
Like
it's I guess like this is one of those things like where like should I complain because like don't care.
Yeah, it's like
so it's Squawkabilly.
I mean, it's not even like a matter of complaining. It just it to me it says like are they really cutting this many corners? Like what is for me I'm like what is the purpose, right? Everyone
makes it harder to argue against that whole Game Freak is lazy narrative. Yeah. And I don't like you said, Soul, I don't believe that Game Freak is lazy. Like, if someone was like, well, if Game Freak's not lazy, then how come and, like, laid this out, I'd be like, I know they definitely, like, were lazy there. I don't think that makes them overall lazy, you know what I mean? Like I have told a lie before. That does not mean I am a liar, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's like, with Pokemon being so big, I feel like there's this spirituality behind it where it's like, maybe we're just like annoying for complaining about things, right? And I don't want to be that. I think it kind of goes back to like how these creatures are going to be around for foreseeably like 100 years, right? Like these characters are going to be around as long as any like Disney character, right? So to me, I would think that this company would want to kind of like, I don't know, just like fulfill everything that needs to be done for these things to be like official creatures that are around forever. Like we have different forms for, what is this thing even called?
Cologne.
Yeah. No, thank you.
We also got different ones for...
Those are bad ones too, by the way. They're ugly, man. What the heck?
We got different forms for Basilegion too. Like we got the different arts for its form.
Right? I was just thinking, like, this is the whole Pokedex. Like, you could just scroll down and see everything if you wanted to.
This is so cool. I didn't even know this website existed.
That all of what you said was a perfect segue. I don't mean to cut you off, but it just perfectly goes into
look at this.
The controversies. Oh, they do have
different art, and it's exactly the same
art.
But what is the difference?
They did do different art for Synesty.
No, it's the same art, just posted twice. No doubt.
Well,
yeah, because you can't prove it's not different art because the stamp isn't visible in the art.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because it's underneath.
Yeah, it's in like the lip of under the cup.
Toxtricity got a new art. So weird. I don't know.
I think that it's just that the forms are different enough that they should get other art. That's the thing with the Dunsparce and Mousehold, is that they're actually different enough. The Synesty, that's a sticker. You know, like we don't need a official art of a sticker like in a different pose. It'd be cool. I would love it, but is what it is. The whole segue though is just that whole topic of Game Freak being lazy. I think is the thing that's going on in the fandom right now at this current moment with these artworks, because it's a whole big confusion, right? People are talking about how they traced artwork from the models, because a lot of the official artwork looks just like it. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. So, at Tentacruel, not Tentacruel. Toadcruel. It looks exactly the same. Like even down to like the hand little things are like almost exactly the same.
So this is something I started. I don't know. So this is something I kind of noticed even in Generation 8. I don't know to this degree. But I definitely started noticing that this is what I chalked it up to. I was like, okay, Pokemon are now, the Pokemon company, Game Freak, they're now starting to make Pokemon that are designed to be functional and appear correctly in a video game and in 2D and in every other single medium that they could exist in, right? So I thought there was a better consistency. And that's what I noticed in Generation 8. I'll pull up an example later on. But it is very clear that the difference was that the poses in the official art was unique, right? Was different. And that seems to be the difference here, where it's not only do these Pokemon appear how they should appear in the game and how they should appear in 2D. It's not just a consistency that people are upset about, because I don't think there should be anything upsetting about a consistency. But it's really it's right here. It's is this actually art, or is this just did they use AI to create this?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think it's the whole underlying thing. There's an underlying idea that Game Freak is lazy or whatever, and that's what's bugging people about it, I think. Yeah. That's my idea in my mind. No one's saying it outright. That's what I think people are actually upset about. Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually not seeing it. I think it was mostly just what I said. There's just a consistency.
Oh, hey, did they not give
are developed?
Did they not give Ice Q's alternate form official art?
See, that's another Pokemon that I think should have a form.
Yeah, that was one of the big ones of Gen 8, actually. Same situation.
What about, where's Darmanitan? Anyways, let's
see.
We can talk about this.
So I'll give you the whole rundown of what basically happened. I mean, for me personally, we were seeing the art months ago, and when I was seeing it, I was like, man, these are kind of boring. They just look almost just like the in-game models. It's a very obvious thing, and they're just not really dynamic poses. But the bottom line is that Pokemon have been doing that forever. It's not anything new. It's been like this. I don't know why. I have a theory why people are picking it out now. Basically, the whole controversy is, were they traced, or were they traced from the models? Because back in the day in Gen 1, Sugimori drew all of his art from sprites. Okay, it's a thing. They went and he was like, oh, these are the sprites. I'm going to draw this art from it. He didn't trace over it, obviously, but it was very similar. And they followed that for a while until they eventually changed and went to they did actual art sheets, and then they did the sprites or models from the art sheets, because the sheets show different angles. It's for the anime. It gives a whole bunch more to it. And then now we have this, right? So they kind of just went back to the old style a little bit and showed, these are very similar to the actual models, and people are kind of up in arms about it.
Yeah, I guess like my response to it would be, first off, like you said, Soul, I don't know that it's ever been, except for maybe in Gen 1, it's never been like that different. Like if Dusty was just scrolling through Unova, and I was thinking like those look pretty dang similar to the models to me. Like, I will also say, like, has anyone never thought, Game Boy Luke posted this on Twitter. He said, like, has anybody not like thought about that maybe the art came first and then the models came after?
Yeah,
that would make sense to me. I mean, they would
that's
have
what
to.
Happened. That's literally what happened. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, so it's weird that people like they trace the art, they trace the model and made the art with that, and it's like, well, maybe they made the art and then they made that like its primary stance in the model.
It's really confusing. It's really confusing. Go for it.
The only thing that, I mean, I guess because I am inclined to give people slack, right? Like, when in doubt, I'm just going to assume the best of someone, right? I don't know if that's good or bad. But
and especially with Gamefreak, because you like Gamefreak.
Yeah, we want to keep, let's keep giving me Pokemon games. Like, honestly, this one I do not see. This one I do not see it being traced.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing when I saw that one. I thought that was
even this one.
Even Baxcalibur looks different. Baxcalibur
looks so different. It's the same
arms
pose,
are expanded.
obviously.
He's looking
They're
down.
Not traced.
No,
they're not traced.
This one
is close, but even still, if you look, there's more detail on the art. Like you see, like where it's like elbow is, I guess. Yeah. There's like detail there that isn't there.
It's a whole different angle though too. Look at its like bottom.
This is different from down here. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like turned. Leaning forward.
Yeah, it's turned. It's a different angle. It's not traced like that. I mean, you could. You would be putting more work into it, right? Tracing it and then changing it a little bit to do that. Even low kicks. People look at low kicks and they're like, "These look traced," but no, it's low kicks is my loser of this this artwork. I love low kicks so much as a Pokemon, and this artwork is just like not great.
Yeah, they should have had it standing on its hind legs. Yeah.
Look at the leg size difference even in it.
Yeah.
Like the actual back legs is in the model, it's 2 times longer than in the artwork. It has like this weird
looks like it's more curved in the I guess it could be just in a different position its legs, because that's its leg. It can, flex that and stuff.
I think what happened is they took this art, right? And they took the models that they have of the Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and then in a separate worksheet to create the Pokedex images that we see, they manipulated. I don't even know how to do it, but they they positioned the models like clay figurines in order to probably look similar to the official art. That's probably what they did, and we have seen that. Like, I'm pretty sure the Flamigo art has a glitch in it where its wings are closed and open at the same time. So that is probably that's probably what they did. They probably tried to copy it in a sense for that consistency.
So the question is though,
even the hind legs that I'm looking at right now of the in-game model are so much longer than the official art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that what you said?
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle, its whole body shape is longer. Like its body is like longer. It's weird, but anyway, the whole question now is though. We know from even James Turner, there was a tweet and he said, put out the way that they do it. Like, you make a sheet and then they make the model from the art sheet. Okay? It's like out there in the internet. I had to delete it, but people have taken screenshots of it. All of that being said, now we know that, but did Game Freak go back and make these official artworks from the models is the question. Like, did they go back again and do it? Because it does seem like that. I'm not saying they traced it, but they look really close to them. So let's just say the artist looked at that 3D model of the Dex of Spidops and then drew that Spidops like from it as reference. That's completely normal as an artist. I'm an artist that can't do anything without reference. Like, I cannot draw from my mind for crap. I have to look at something. That's the only way.
That's the good insight. Yeah,
That's what I think that's what they did. And the controversy, it's kind of ridiculous, but it is just about them, what people see and them thinking that they were lazy in doing that. And they're not traced.
I think
almost definitely.
Yeah. So maybe we can pivot the conversation to rather than just like people are talking about like whether or not they traced these, right? Like they're trying to like make up this controversy. But what about the argument that like these just don't look like they have as much soul is the term, right?
Yeah.
That they don't look like classic Sugimori art.
I am one of those. So like my problem with this art, I was making tweets about this art as well, and people were not enjoying it because they thought that I was talking about them tracing, but I'm not talking about them tracing at all. I'm talking about the actual artwork themselves are not, some of them are not that great. Not all of them. I love some of them. Then some other ones are like, and so I noticed that there's someone or some like person that's doing a whole new style even. So like the low kicks and the spide ops, they have a different style almost to them. And this is really nitpicky and niche, like Kilowattrel is one of the most disappointing ones, I think, for everyone
weird.
Every artist that I've talked to has said like Kilowattrel looks really weird, and I love.
Can you tell me how? Because I'm not an artist and I can't see it, and I noticed you said that, and I was like, how? I want like what is it you see? Pose.
It looks like a 10-year-old drew it. Like that's the thing. It looks like a dream
That's world. A good 10-year-old to me.
It is. It's not. Listen, it's not bad. It's just not up to like the quality of what we've had.
The perspective of it is definitely off. I would think that that further wing should be up higher, or at least tilted.
I can't tell the difference.
Like its wing should be like this, and it's like this. Its wing is like this. You can't. I'm not used to having such a small screen.
Yeah. For me, it's not even that. It's the
you gotta like
attention.
Do the hands like T-Rex.
Yeah. For me, it's not even that. It's the attention to detail in it. Like it doesn't have as much going on in it. If you compare that one to Iron Jugulus, let's say, Iron Jugulus has like the most detail you ever seen in a piece of artwork in Pokemon, and a lot of them are just inconsistent. Basically, you have this Kilowattrel that is like very basic, and then you have this Iron Jugulus that is really complicated, and they're all in the same thing. And this is my theory: is that people have seen these things, they're looking through all the artworks, and they're like, "Wait, this looks off. This looks weird." They must have traced it, but no, it's not about them tracing it. It's just that it's a new style. It's not. That's the thing, Lumi. It's not bad. That's not terrible or anything. To me, I don't like it.
Right? Yeah, it's not this.
No, it is not that.
No, of course it's not that. But that to me looks like it's just more modern. I mean, I can't. I'm not by any means like saying y'all are wrong. I'm just saying it. I mean, honestly, if anything, I'm saying I think this is a neat thing. That like artists feel that way about it, while like me, I'm just a regular Joe when it comes to art, and I'm just kind of like, pretty bird, like it.
Yep. So, I mean, this whole thing, I just want to like say this. It's not up front because we already started this conversation, but up front, this is just like examine this. This isn't like a controversy that's gonna make me lose sleep at night or something. Like, this is enjoyable things to talk about for me. I'm passionate about the topic. But like the whole disconnect as well is people that aren't artists or that just enjoy Pokemon and just are like, wow, it looks really good. There's nothing wrong with that. And there is nothing wrong with it. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just different. I've been trying to say it over and over, but I don't know, people get the wrong idea. A lot of artists that I've seen on the internet have been like, this looks weird. This is different, because they literally are looking at artworks and doing art all day and realize this, but the like casual user, they're not going to see much different, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's where I am. Like I said, I'm just
looking at this art.
The only difference I see is like a difference in age. Like obviously the Gym 1 arts that you had up, Dusty, they look older. Like they look like they're done in that older classic Pokemon style. Like to me, I mean, they haven't looked like that since then. So these look no different than Galar to me. They look no different than...
I do think there was a shift. I'm sorry to cut you off. I think there was a shift in Galar. I remember when these prints came out, they did look different. Or maybe it was actually just the book.
The Galar looks no different to me than Alola.
No, I think Alola looks different.
I can really not complain about the Galar art. It's like, It looks really good. Even Alola. I think so. Another thing is that since Gen 6, we've been getting really good artwork.
Like this looks so classic. To me, this looks like Jigglypuff or something.
Yeah. I do see what you mean on that one.
And maybe that's the shading.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I
think it is, because then look at Centiskorch and it looks brand new.
Yeah, this is good art too.
So but maybe they just have more about it for it.
This is like bad art, but I feel like it's bad art on purpose. Like this feels like a Gen 4 Pokemon or something, or Gen 3.
I like it. I think it looks good.
I think it looks cute.
I'm trying to look right now for, I don't know, man.
I think a lot of it stems from there's maybe a new artist or someone trying a new style for Pokemon art in Gen 9, and that's because the original people like Sugimori are not trying to like back off and be less involved. Like it's the new people are stepping up and things are changing, and people like me that love that Gen 1 art are like, oh, it's got to stay like Gen 1 art, but it's not going to. Eventually this change was always going to come. I'm just hoping it's not like Dream World artworks for the rest of our lives. Even though I love them, it's just not the same. I don't know. It's a confusing thing.
So you know what? I was telling this to Lumi right before we started. Like, even Gen 5 art looks as old to me as Generation 1. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm tempted to say that like to me this looks like. I feel like
there's a lot of the art or the mon.
It could be the mon, yeah. But I feel like a lot of older art. I feel like it's a lot more. It's like, is botanical the correct word? Where it's like it's almost like it's like you're getting to see the Pokemon with like a blank expression. It's default. I mean, I guess not in every situation. Like, look at this thing. Maybe it just screams all the time. But then I'm just trying to play with this out. I'm just trying to play with this out loud. I don't even know if it's true. But then I feel like some Pokemon, I don't know. No, I'm starting to disagree with what I'm saying, because this is similar. But actually, I
didn't even have to argue with you. You got yourself.
That's what this podcast is for.
I'll take that as a win.
Yeah. Cheers.
If you're like looking, cheers. If you're looking at the art, like when you were in Gen 5 and then you scrolled back up to Gen 9, some of the colors and things like even in Gen 8, even in Gen 8, like look at Glamora, the like color texture, whatever you want to call it, is like almost like a smudged look to me.
Yeah.
It's that different. I do see it on. I do see what you mean on that.
It's like oversaturated and smudged, but I want to say this again. It's just because it's a different style. It's someone trying different styles, and in all of these generations, you will see people doing different styles because not the same person doesn't draw every single Pokemon. Like, these are multiple different people drawing multiple Pokemon here. They're not going to draw 100 themselves. Sometimes, like Sugimori did in Gen 1, but rarely is the case.
He designed this, right? Like, this looks like...
I think it was him. I forget, to be honest.
Because this looks so classic to me.
I think it was him, but he had help with those two because he couldn't figure them out. There's a story behind those two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many dope Pokemon. Look at this. Oh, man. I didn't even know this website existed. I'm like in bliss right now.
1,008 of them, Dusty. 1,
yeah.
There's really? Actually, there's going to be 1,011.
Yes.
At least.
We can definitely segue here, too, if you guys want. I'll say one last thing. Like, I love Gamefreak. I love Pokemon art. It looks good. Some of them look bad. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know? 100%. Everyone has their different opinions on these artworks. Let's not kill each other over it, please.
Well, before we segue to the 1008 thing, I think that there's a segue that might be better related to this. And that is, we're talking about how we wish that there had been arts for, going back to the different forms thing. We wish we had gotten an alternate art, Dunsparce, and all this. One art that we did get for a completely redundant form is we got a chess form Gimmighoul and a roaming form Gimmighoul. And to kind of bring that all in together, with the official reveal of Golden Go last week, we got it revealed that Golden Go evolves from chess form Gimmighoul and roaming form Gimmighoul. So it's kind of a thing of what even is the point of roaming form Gimmighoul? Like, why would I someone who I've got a chest form Gimmighoul, you know, I can evolve that. Why would I take the time to re-download Pokemon Go, because I don't still play it, and go get me a roaming form Gimmighoul, however that'll be done, and then do the work to transfer it over. Also, I can evolve it into a Pokemon I can just get right now.
I don't know if we already. So, I don't know if we already know this, but it could be that standard Gimmighoul could, or the roaming form could have like some sort of like a battle abilities, because as it stands right now, the chest form Gimmighoul can't really do anything in battle. Like, I literally had to trade in a Golden Go into my Violet version to be able to like even use it. That'd be my first thought. My other thought is, of course not. I never really thought there was going to be a new evolution. But I also don't think they even, like, what is the purpose? The purpose is for collection, right? I think that's kind of what it comes down to for me.
It's the same thing with all the other forms.
Yeah, to me, that's like, I know that is the answer. That's not a good answer. Like, to me, it's like
what is its function?
All that work for it to do nothing. You know,
it's like a mythical. But you can use a mythical in battle.
Super offensive to a mythical.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like Meltan, right? That's
like
to me. That's like
I can evolve multiple Dunsparce in my party, and I can very quickly get a 3-segment to Dunsparce, and in the process, also getting a 2-segment to Dunsparce. You know, plenty of them, in fact. Same thing with Mousehold. But Gimmighoul, I have to do all this extra work for something that, in order for me to use it, I'm going to have to evolve. And when I evolve it, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't think you evolve it. I think those people collect that just not to not evolve it. Or I think there's maybe going to be a slight visual difference on that Golden Go.
Like it doesn't have the fanny pack?
Yeah, that would be the most logical thing, would just be for it not to have the whole chest and belt. Like, because roaming form does not have the chest. Makes sense.
Golden Go without pants?
How does
belt?
How does Golden Go get the belt from the roaming form one when it evolves if it never had the chest in the first?
Kills a chest form.
I like that. Honestly, no, I think that. So, do we have confirmation, or are we still just asking questions? Because I think that makes the most sense. It just wouldn't have a belt.
We do have confirmation that Golden Go evolves from both, but like Soul said, it could be a slightly visual difference.
Okay.
That's just pure speculation.
It does say on Golden Go, like, if you go to the English site, it says Golden Go evolves from roaming form Gimmighoul and chest form Gimmighoul.
So that's confirmed. But it having any differences at all is complete speculation. Like, I think that the most likely scenario is that it's exactly the same. But that's the most disappointing scenario, no doubt. Definitely. I think the more slightly realistic one is for what Dusty said, and it gets like some kind of I don't know, a better ability on Golden Go or something, even though it's already broken. Like, what? Just a different ability, let's say.
I love the names of this. I'm translating the Japanese site. It's called Surf Go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then like it also says that it's a she. It says she is friendly and easy to get along with. Golden Go
might just be like some kind of translation that's not accurate.
Right. That's fair.
Does it have a gender? I don't think it has a gender.
I don't think so.
I don't know, actually.
But
I don't have one yet in the game.
How did you guys?
I know Gimmighoul doesn't have one.
Yeah, I mean they're little gremlins. How did you guys feel about that video that they put out, the 1008 video?
So you take this one. I need to gather my thoughts.
Okay. It was exactly what I expected. Actually, I put out a tweet that was so random I didn't expect for it to be accurate. But I was just like, it's just going to be a reel of all of the Pokemon like in being encountered, which it wasn't exactly that, but that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought also that they would release the official artwork afterwards at some point, not like days from then, but just shortly after. They did exactly that. I didn't expect like any reveals or anything. I think the video itself was kind of awesome.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was a fun video.
And I liked how they grouped the different Pokemon. Like I saw on Twitter, like we saw some confirmation that Fion, maybe that was you, Lumi, who said Fion is confirmed to be a mythical Pokemon, which is kind of cool. And then there's also
was there a question about that? I thought that was always confirmed to be a mythical Pokemon.
I mean, I think its stats are a lot weaker.
It wasn't me who said it, for what that's worth.
Okay, yeah. And it was like, I mean, it's an offspring of Manaphy. It's not like actually the mythical Pokemon. It's like...
It's a confusing mythical, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was...
Know. I think like that Pokemon fans marry labels like way too much. Like, I think... You know, like they're like, this has to be a mythical, and it has to meet this, and this in order to be a mythical. And if it's 1 point off and even one thing, it's not a mythical.
We're not like that at all. None at all.
We really aren't, actually, though. I'm like in the speculation life. Like, I say things like that, but I don't mean it like it's, you know, it has to be forever.
What's great about this franchise is as every 3 years, right, or let's say every year, there's always room for them to retcon things, introduce new concepts. I mean, that's kind of the fun of this show, right? We literally had a show about all about legendaries. What does a legendary mean, right? I think back in Gen 1, that meant something different, and over the course of 30 years, it's changed a lot.
So to go back to the video, I didn't expect anything from it. Certainly not a DLC reveal. I did start to get a little bit, even excited, but curious, I guess, when they, the day before, announced, hey, it'll be dropping at 9 o'clock EST tomorrow.
Sure.
That, because that's a practice they typically do with big things. Not exclusively, but a lot of the time. So I was hoping, because, like what we said, we know that there's going to be 1011 at least, in this gen, like, in fact, in this year. So we know that we're going to get the paradoxes of the Beast, the Swords of Justice, and the third legendary in DLC. So I did start to hope, not necessarily think, but hope that they would do, like, at the end, like, 1008, and then, like, do and still counting, and, like, show that picture from Scarlet and Violet of the third legendary or something. And that's
cool.
But no DLC announcement. Yeah. No announcement of what that is. Just a little, like,
an acknowledgement of what they've already hinted at in the game officially. I think that is cool, and we're always going to be catching new Pokemon, right? Like,
well, that's another thing too. Like, and to say and still counting, because, like, obviously they're not stopping here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool. It's a fun video.
It would have been realistic to me. I could totally see it happening.
It was a very fun video. I loved it, especially the part with the new mons, the Paldea mons. That was a lot of fun. I like that.
I think I love all of these little videos that they put out every couple of years. I think it's like the Sun and Moon reveal trailer. That was super fun. It showed all the different Pokemon games through the generations. This game's kind of like that as well. I think it was the trailer before they released or revealed Legends Arceus and BDSP, and that was another similar trailer where they showed all the different merchandise and categories and forms.
That was for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun as well. I've been loving those videos, and I do go back to those all the time.
Yeah, this is totally
they usually have fire music.
Yeah, you could watch this again. You could go back and watch this again over and over if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think that's why they put them out. It's just to be enjoyable, and I feel like the reception online, at least on Twitter, was pretty positive towards it.
Yeah.
Some people were probably disappointed that there was nothing, but most people that I saw were like, this was a really enjoyable little video.
It is nice.
And I do think, since they're not revealing, or at least it seems like, I'd be floored if they did. It seems like they're not revealing DLC this month. They did with Sword and Shield. They revealed the DLC in January. I didn't think they would in January for this, because I think the difference with Sword and Shield was the thing that was keeping Sword and Shield down was the National Deck stuff, and the DLC was kind of a pseudo fix of that.
Yeah.
So by announcing it in January, you kind of they kind of had to. They had to announce it earlier so that people knew, hey, calm down. We're putting more in.
Yeah.
Which, actually, that's funny that you bring that up. We hadn't planned this, but they announced something on that day with the 1008 video, which was that there's like some kind of patch coming. So in the same vein, in the same vein as what you're talking about with Sword and Shield, the big controversy here is that Scarlet and Violet is buggy and we need it fixed. And they're like, oh, you know what? We're gonna give you a patch in February for this, and we're announcing it today. So they did almost do the same thing that you said about Sword and Shield.
About that too. You screwed up because now like the conversation's like spiraling in a different direction. About that too. They noted, so they're going to do. They noted late February is when it comes out. They didn't even say February. They said late February, and then they said that there will be bug fixes, performance fixes, and they said that there will be added functionality. And what that means to me is, if y'all remember back when the Sword and Shield DLC was announced, they at the end of the presentation announced, hey, there's a patch for Sword and Shield right now, and it'll allow you to go to the train station in Wedgehurst, and you will be able to meet Clara Avery and catch a Galarian Slowpoke. So I totally think Pokemon Day, they're going to announce DLC for Scarlet and Violet, and then the added functionality is we're going to get our little Galarian Slowpoke capture. Some kind of little extra tease for the.
That was a lot of fun when they did that, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna start shiny hunting for this new Pokemon with the hopes that it will evolve somehow. That's awesome.
And everyone was excited because its shiny form looked like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
What if it's not our little Slowpoke, Galarian Slowpoke kind of thing, but it's actually like one of those legendaries? How crazy would that be?
That'd be too much, I would think.
Like just one of.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like you catch it. Imagine like it's just a little thing of like Arvin's like, hey, I need something at the lab. Let's go back to Area 0, and you go down there and you just like see it up on the time machine looking down at you and running off. That would be enough. It would be enough for me.
That'd be really cool.
I'd cry.
Like it's in this position.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Like they do with Suicune in the anime. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking for the picture where it's like up on the top of the right here. You see this in the game, and you're like, oh, I know what that is.
Yes.
Oh, dude, this one? So epic.
Yeah. Thing is, though,
it just jumps away.
If they follow Sword and Shield's like whole thing, they like showed us almost everything when they announced the DLC.
They did do, yeah. And I was speculating like there was gonna be so much more. I mean, you would think, right?
Clara's bow. We were all going Galarian Dustops.
Oh, that should have happened, man.
It should have happened. It absolutely should have happened.
That's like Iono's Magnemite. I swear, I thought those were going to be.
I remember, Dusty. I remember you and I not arguing, like actually like mad.
Yeah,
but, like,
I was convinced.
Us like debating because you're like Paradox Magneton revealed, and I'm like, no, it is not Paradox. Why would she be wearing a Paradox on her head?
I don't know. We didn't know what the Paradox were. I really thought, I'm like, oh, maybe each of the gym leaders are going to have one of the Paradox, and they're working for the Elite Four, or I guess it would have been. I don't even know what her name is. The champion of the league. Like I don't know. I was like maybe they're all in on it, and they all have Paradox, and they're artificial Pokemon, and they're working for the league, and the league is evil. I had some good ideas. They should get me to write a game.
Not if you're gonna put a rare Pokemon in some chick's hair,
dude. But it's not. It's like an interpretation of the Pokemon, right?
I got you.
Like, anyways, but like,
I wish it was. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
would have been. Cool.
I mean, Sandy Shocks is great. I do like Sandy Shocks.
I love Sandy Shocks.
Really good. Sandy Shocks is one of the best ones.
Dude, I don't think these Pokemon are. I don't think they're future and past.
We're really going in.
I don't think. Just like looking at it, the fact I was thinking about it, I'm the fact that this exists, I don't know. I've always looked at Magneton.
Use the logic, man.
Magneton is 3 Magnemites that are magnetically together. This is not that. These are 3 different Pokemon. Totally. It's got a tail, dude.
It's great. It's a great
And
Pokemon.
It's ground type. It shouldn't be ground type.
It's grounded. It's not floating like Magneton.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
He's grounded Magneton from the past.
But it's literally ground.
He is beautiful.
So what do you guys expect for the DLC? Like, I mean, realistically, like, do you think we're going to get another regional form? Or they could give us another conversion. They could give us that Magikarp, right? Let's say it exists.
I don't think they will.
Like, whatever it might be, they could give us something.
I think that is lost to time.
I agree with Louis on that one. I don't think that one's coming. But I would be pleasantly surprised if it was. I just put out a tweet, actually, about this with, like, the whole, like, not actually 1008 but 1011, and like, you know, who knows what they're going to give us, because in Sword and Shield they gave us so much more in the DLC. Like, we got 16, I think, Pokemon, 15 added in the DLC.
Yeah, I mean, there was Kubfu, Urshifu, Zarude, and then a bunch in Crown Tundra.
Yep. Plus the forms were like, there's a lot of forms, so it's just like we could get a bunch of forms and a few new Pokemon, because I don't think they're going to want to, like, hike up the actual number to, like, you know, 1020 or something. I think by the end of Gen 9 we might be around 1020, 1030, which is crazy. You know, but
maybe
it's not even
just get us to 1015. That'd be 7 more. We already know that there's 3 of them.
Well, think about it like this. How many Pokemon did we get? How many additional Pokemon forms, regional forms, battle forms did we get in this, you know, Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor? I think it's around like 15 or 20.
If you scroll down right there, you'll see it's the 3rd tweet.
We got
right on the last tweet, not that one, the next one. Yep.
The next one? This one?
No, sorry, up a little bit.
There's a delay. Gen 8, equal amount of greater forms. Gen 9, base Swish had 14 regional forms, 26 Gmaxes. DLC added 6 regional forms, 7 Gmaxes. PLA added 17 regional forms. We'll see. Interesting. Yeah, that is.
So that's by the end of Gen 9.
So, like, are we going to assume... 8. So what's the breakdown there? 14 regional forms, right? Or no, that's in base Sword and Shield. So you're thinking just 6. Well, 6 and 7, that's 13 different forms.
Right. Plus there was new Pokemon too. So I didn't put them together, but if you scroll up, there was Lumi just said it was Zarude, Urshifu,
Kubfu, Urshifu, Zarude were Isle of Armor.
So that's more than
Crown
15
Tundra
forms.
Was the 2 Reggies, the Steeds, and Calyrex. And for forms, you had Slowpoke and its evolutions, and then the birds.
Interesting. Yeah. So
the only new Gigantamaxes were Urshifu and Blastoise and Venusaur.
Dude, that's crazy. Calyrex and it's all its forms.
And the Galar starters too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Galar stars did get Gigantamaxes.
So if you take all of that into account, though, Sword and Shield had Gigantamax forms in the base game, but we didn't have any forms in the base game of Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Like, if they give us some kind of form of something, how many forms would they give us? Would it be like Mega Evolution? Would they give us, like, I don't know, near 20 forms?
I also wonder, would it be like Gigantamax, where they give it to some of the Galar monsters? Like, because Gigantamax was primarily Gen 1, Gen 8, and then for some reason, Melmetal makes sense, but then for some reason, Garbodor got one. But, like, other than that, they didn't touch any gens.
I like that
the other gens. And Megas, though, they didn't touch Kalos. They only gave one to Diancie and Kalos, and then the Megas were from all the previous gens. So I'm wondering, if there were new forms, would they do new forms for Gen 8 Pokemon? Gen 9 Pokemon, excuse me.
I hope, I pray, that's what I want. Like, that's what I want. I want new forms for the Gen 8 or Gen 9 Pokemon. I don't know what I keep saying.
And it makes sense, too, because we have a lot of complaints about, like, how some of these look incomplete. I've seen people say Spidops looks incomplete. I think that Scovillain, even though I like it, looks incomplete.
Yep.
So
we could break down a bunch of them.
Yeah, but I think there's plenty of Pokemon in Gen 8, Gen 7, Gen 6, Gen 5 that all look incomplete. And I think in the next, like, 5 to 10 years, we will start seeing those filled in, right? I think when they design a dex, they purposely make Pokemon look, you know, or they design a dex or they include unfinished Pokemon to match previous generations. So I don't think it necessarily means we're gonna we're bound to get something.
But I think they also sometimes design Pokemon so that a form looks like it completes it. I think about last gen Orbeetle. Yeah. Orbeetle was completed by its Gigantamax. I think.
See, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? It's like they make a Pokemon.
I would say the same for
animal version, and then they take a design. Yep. That is true, yeah. Even that is true, yeah. And you have
if you had just gotten Orbeetle, even just Corviknight the way it is, or
that's what I was looking at, yeah.
Or Colossal, you would have been like, these feel incomplete. Something's not. I mean, I feel that way about Thievul. Like he looks like he could change a lot, but
the defense there is that it's like an early route Pokemon, right? I feel like Gossifleur is like what?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why is that there?
I mean, I love Eldegoss a lot, but it could go further.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna start doing that more and more in modern Pokemon because they are prepping them to be available.
Yes.
To have a new form or a new evolution in the future.
They're thinking,
especially since they're going back to evolutions now. They want some where they laying groundwork to do more with it later on.
Yeah, it's like when I see Phalanx, I'm like, okay, that's the new Executor, right? Like, that's not that's that exciting, but I'm just saying, like, I think they try to make certain tropes of Pokemon and try to hit those same beats. They're 100% thinking 10, 20 years in the future. They're like, what is our, where would it be in 25 years? How do we position ourselves?
I don't know if they think that far ahead, but they definitely think like 2 gens ahead. I don't think they think 25 years ahead.
I think they have an overarching plan for 25 years, easily. Easily.
Nah.
And then, but
this ain't the MCU.
Dude, I really think it is.
It's hilarious because this ties back into what we were talking about earlier with the artwork and how things are developed. Like, we just don't know how things are developed at Game Freak, Nintendo, the Pokemon Company. Like, it could be either one of what you guys are saying for sure.
So the last 5 years have been so successful for Pokemon, and I think what they're saying is like, okay, we're up here. There's a probability that we die out a little bit, right? But like, there's waves, right? And I think they're thinking, what can we do that's amazing right now? Okay, regional forms. Everyone likes regional forms. What else can we do? And then they go, okay, what are all these things that are great? How do we future-proof those ideas, right? And what they're probably thinking is like, okay, well, if we make all these future Pokemon, if all the current Pokemon we make are like perfect designs, like, then we can't iterate on them in the future. And we're already seeing that, like, yeah, they're going back to making cross-gen evolutions. I don't think it's that ridiculous, right? Even in Gen 8, they're making these cross-gen evolutions with, like, or at least regional forms with, like, Generation 5 Pokemon. Like, I think Gen 6 is next. I think we're going to start to see, Pokemon, maybe not Pyroar, because it's got the gender variation, but, like, let's see. I don't know. I feel like there are, like, Hawlucha is, dude, give Hawlucha an evolution.
Hawlucha to me feels like it's how it is actually. I could see it getting evolution. I mean, it's just because it's single stage,
Yeah. Well, maybe okay. So, Helioptile.
But I think some Pokemon look like, I feel like there's different levels of incomplete. I feel like some look incomplete, like they need an evolution, but some look incomplete, like they need a form. You know what I mean? Like like Orbeetle, I think it just needs the Gigantamax form. It does not look like needs an evolution, but like an alternate form. And there's a lot of Pokemon that I think look like they need a like Mega Evolution or something in that vein. And like, to me, another one that stands out is Flamigo. I think Flamigo doesn't look like it evolves further, but it looks like it could like Mega Evolve or access another kind of form that just enhances it,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Avalugg is Generation 6, and that got a regional form in Generation 8. Like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Supposedly, the rumor about Avalugg is that supposedly it was originally a 3-stage.
Interesting. That's cool.
No, that's true. That's not a rumor. That's like a beta cut thing that they cut an
Very
actual.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, like there was, isn't it? Avalugg's the final, Bergmite's the baby. There was supposed to be something in between.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have Pokemon like Scovillain that like don't have a lot of detail on them and look very flimsy as a final stage. And for me, for whatever reason, those are the Pokemon that I look at where I'm like, okay, this should evolve further. It's got to get beefier. It's got to look a little bit more stable. Helioptile is, or is that the final form? Helioptile? Heliolisk also looks like that, even though it does have like I think its design looks complete. I think it, right? For what
it to me would be one that I would say needs a form.
Yeah, I would say that.
Especially because too, and again, this kind of goes back to when we talked about how Pokemon fans like get married to rules and patterns that probably Game Freak doesn't care half as much about. But I will say, with Scovillain and with Heliolisk, they both evolve via Stone, and so far, we have never had a Pokemon that evolves via Stone that evolves further.
That's a good point.
Right.
Now, but it could Mega Evolve.
Yeah.
It could, Gigantamax. It could get, whatever kind of form they'd want to give us in DLC.
I could see Hawlucha getting an evolution that is more of a sidestep evolution, kind of like Scyther to Cleavor, right? Both of them have the same base stat total, but it's still so rather than just getting stronger, I mean, maybe it needs the stats, but rather than being whatever type of fighter, what is it, a luchador? Like, I could see it sidestepping to a different type of evolution. That's maybe more
a matador.
Yeah, right there. That's a good one.
I think that would definitely be a form thing though, because like Lumi's saying, he needs a baby form to do that. But split evolutions are legitimate. Like,
no, it doesn't need a baby form at all. It could evolve.
For it to have a side evolution, it would have to have a baby form.
Scyther and Scizor and Cleavor all have the same base stat total. So I don't think it's. I'm just. Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I think an evolution.
I would rather they do in that regard. I'd rather they do a regional variant for it. Though.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair.
Which is totally possible. In Paldea, he's a Matador. That's it. Well, the only thing is,
Paldea,
he's already in it. Yeah, he's already in Paldea.
He is. That's
true. They could always do, like, if you visit an island in it, say it's called like, they could name the isle something else. And they could do regional variants that are exclusive, not to Paldea, but to that island.
Mm-hmm. Totally. They can do whatever they want. And I think, to go back to your point about Garbodor getting a G-Max and all, like, them picking, like, random ones, like Audino for a Mega, like, he just randomly picked them. I think that they just went in there and they were like, you know what? I have an idea, a design idea for this Pokemon. And I don't have a design idea for the rest of Gen 5 or 6, but this Pokemon, I do have it. And they put that idea out to the design team, and they were like, yeah, let's keep that one. And they were just like, well, we don't have any other ones for that generation. They're like, who cares? We'll do what we want.
We need some... It got some with Megas, but it's been a long time since Megas. We need some kind of, in my opinion, Gen 4 love.
I think
your camera fell.
Oh my goodness.
I thought that was a technical difficulty on my end.
He just fell into there.
But what's funny is it just switched to portrait mode. Like it switched to portrait mode versus Landscape. Yeah. I don't know why.
Should we just leave this in the video?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Leave it in the video. You got my Ash Ketchum hat there. My social security might be over there. I mean, leave it.
Let's use this as a segue to end the episode. We would love to hear what your favorite designs are from Generation 9, whether it's a Paradox or maybe it's a Wiglet. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. We've got a lot of reviews already. I think our new goal is going to be 50 reviews. I think that'd be super awesome. I think we got about 30 reviews so far. And if you're watching on YouTube, help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Here, let's move over to this view so you can see Soul Silver's mask. As soon as we hit 1,000 subs, Soul's going to be showing his face for the rest of the time. So I can't wait for that.
Complete it.
Yeah, let's get... Yeah. I have not even... I swear. Lumi has, but I have not seen Soul's face. So you'd also be doing me a favor by getting us to 1,000 subs. See you guys. Peace out.
Bye.
Peace.